Welcome back, Panther fans. I'm David Brown here with Ryan Graham.
Hey, y'all.
Tim Thurber.
Hello.
The illustrious Ben Moore, and this is State of Atlanta. And I didn't get beer. I get a beer. There we go. The only reason Ben's not drinking is because he's in a car driving. Oh, will be driving later on. So otherwise,
yeah, Ben's not drinking.
After that Rhode Island game, I think everybody needed a drink, even the non-drinkers.
Wink, Well, I had plenty. Thanks to Prime Meridian.
I think we drank enough before, during, and maybe after the game, right?
Sounds.
I don't know. What did I do afterwards? I feel like I went home.
It sounds on par for us. You didn't go home and drink more? I did.
I don't think I did. I don't think I should have if I did.
If I did, all right. Let's get going. Ben, I know we only got you for a few minutes here. Our defense is going to be completely fixed by this Saturday against UConn, right?
True or false?
Yeah, I would say false. I will say this, and there were some encouraging things, and I know a lot of folks were upset at the way that a 712th year quarterback went up and down the field. I did the rewatch. Brady and I did the rewatch and went back and kind of looked at it. There's a couple things that stick out almost immediately. Okay. So the pressure rate was much higher, I think, in game one than what we had seen overall in previous games. They got hits on the Rhode Island quarterback. He was banged up, and it led directly to the pick six because he tried to step back on the foot that he basically got kind of banged up on, sailed it, and Gavin Pringle took it to the house for six, which ended up being the distance in the margin there. But I also think you have to give credit to Rhode Island. They took advantage a lot of miscommunications at the secondary. You saw guys pointing at each other. You saw guys not really knowing where they're supposed to be on the big play. You saw Bryquise Brown really just rip into Jalen Tate, just saying, hey, man, like if you come up and gamble and try to take a shot and try to get that interception, you better pick it. Because if it goes over your head, guess what? I got to run the guy down 70 yards down the field. So I do expect some adjustments, some even personnel adjustments. I saw Cody Jones moved in the starting lineup. But in terms of fixed, I don't know. I think it'll be better. I think UConn's offense does different things than what Rhode Island's going to be able to do. I think they can run the ball a little bit better than Rhode Island can. And let's see how this run defense looks in game two versus game one.
Yeah, you mentioned Cody Jones. You pluck a touchdown out of a receiver's arms. Yeah, you get moved into the starting rotation. I feel like that's a fair move, right?
and rewatch the game. Shamar McCollum forced a fumble that should have been 14-0 first defensive snap. It was a fumble. He hit with such force, it forced his arm forward, and that should have been a fumble. I was stunned that it wasn't even challenged by Coach Elliott, and I was even more stunned they didn't even review it.
But even the announcers after that call said it looks like he got his hand knocked forward. It wasn't a forward pass.
Correct.
And the announcers were even like, "Oh, that was sort of weird."
Were you playing FCS football this past weekend? Maybe with refs?
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is Georgia State FCS game on a Thursday night. They were just ready to go home themselves. I did a little bit of homework. I rewatched the highlights video that somebody put together. Not the Georgia State one. This is a third party guy that Matt loves football or something. It was much longer. Had a lot of more stuff in it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, to do that for every football game. Anyhow, there was two things I put it on as notes to talk about tonight when I saw it. And the first one was watching the game. I feel like we got maybe a little full of ourselves. Like, all right, we got this early on in the game. We're like, all right, we can kind of do what we want here. We're not, we're good. And just started like trying to skate by. But then when we found out, no, these guys are playing for a full, 60 minutes. We got to fix this. And we did. So that was my first note that I put down. And the second one I put down, it looked like that when Georgia State went to the locker room, Coach Elliott's mid-game speech was, just keep it up, guys. Just keep doing what you're doing. We're going to be good to go. We got this game under control. We're going to be great. Whereas Rhode Island's head coach came in and actually said, all right, this is how we're going to change things up, and we're going to mix things up, and we're going to make it a different game for Georgia State. And we had to adapt on the fly.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think, the first point is a salient one. I mean, like, ultimately focus was an issue on both sides of the ball. You saw there was moments. I mean, Darren Granger didn't play a perfect game. His stats were great. If you just looked at the box or if you just caught the highlights, you'd be like, hey, Darren played an A+ game. He missed, pieces in the RPO. He held it a couple times where he probably should have handed the ball off, which, would have been 7, 8, 9 more yards. There were opportunities down the field, which I think that he will see and get more comfortable in this, as he continues to kind of progress, but didn't do anything crazy, didn't really take any unnecessary shots, which listen, that's what you want your quarterback to do, is do what you need to do offensively, get the guys in the right spot. Still had something that I had never seen in my 42 years on earth and probably 36 or so years of watching college football. I'd never, ever seen a measurement twice. That was truly amazing. That was certainly a first. My dad, who's a former ref and has been a ref for over 20 years, I was texting him. He's traveling in Europe, and he goes, and I said, they just measured twice. And he said, twice? Why? He goes, did the chain break? And I was like, no, they just measured it twice.
Well, my father, who's in construction, always said measure twice, cut once. So maybe it's just a different perspective.
That's totally different. I just think it's wild, Ben, that what I watched was an offense that actually was hitting pretty well. And I didn't have anything bad to say about Granger. I know, you're going to miss an option choice every now and again, and that's what we're used to, but he still did the job really well. And man, if that guy wasn't so much more accurate than we're used to watching, and I don't know if it's because of the level of play of Rhode Island or what, but he played on point, the way that I would have loved to have seen him play all season, and I hope to see for the rest of the season, because he was awesome.
Well, and a little thing that we've talked about all summer. We saw him, his body physically, he's gained 18 to 20 pounds, whatever the number was. His deep ball, the touch on that, just the confidence plus, the air under that. Those shots to Lewis and Talik Williams were absolutely on point, on the money, in stride. And I mean, those are perfect passes and in
coverage right where they needed to be. It was really great to see that, they were just a little to the left or a little to the right, a little lower, a little higher, whatever the receiver needed in coverage to actually get the ball. He was there.
And huge credit to the guys up front, right? Offensive line was a question all offseason. Plug and play guys like Trevor Timmons, who came in from Charlotte, didn't really play a lot. He came in there guard. Jonathan Brown, who really hasn't played hardly at all. He started at left guard. We had Avery Reese to the center, had no center quarterback exchange issues, no low snaps or anything like that, like we've seen in the past. Again, kept him clean. Again, I'm nitpicking. We'll fully put my hand raised and say, yeah, I'm nitpicking here with a little bit of Granger. But, I mean, my gosh, Marcus Carroll was, I think, either the 4th or the 5th highest rushing total in a game in Georgia State history. The dude is a monster.
Yep. I do agree with the defense, though. I was really happy to see all the pressure that they got on the quarterback. Obviously, that quarterback is very athletic and very good at getting away from the pressure and, giving himself a couple of extra seconds to get the pass off. I think a lot of quarterbacks are not going to be nearly as athletic as he was. And that was just awesome to see, because that's what I want to see in our defense, is pressure on the quarterback. That's really mostly what I want to see. But the secondary has to do their job too, and protect the outside there and make sure that they're not catching those balls.
Yeah, and I think you see that this Saturday. I think when you have when the UConn coaches turn the film on and see nothing but pressure, I think this is also the opportunity for Chad Staggs to start varying some things, right? Guys that were leaning up and coming up to the line of scrimmage, do you drop guys? Do you throw kind of zone blitzes, on that side of things? Could you show one look and then basically drop back in there? And then what happens, right? Then you have pressure coming from the secondary. Then you have pressure where you didn't necessarily expect it. And that forces, poor decisions. You go back and I just watched some of the tape and went over the Pro Football Focus grades from the UConn offense. It wasn't good. Their quarterback threw for 113 yards, really had no threat in the passing game. They've got a solid running back and they've got a solid running game. They're going to want to run the ball, and they run a pro style offense with former Falcons coach Jimmy Mora. Kind of in charge of that. They like that 21 personnel, 2 tight ends, line it up and go at you. Okay, well, let's see how that, the strength gained and the big guys up front I was super impressed with Henry Bryant at nose. Again, undersized defensive lineman. He's a guy that played a bunch of snaps. Anthony Bloom, a guy that I did not have circled at all, transfer from Norfolk State, played 30-some snaps and played well. I think he was either 5th or 6th in terms of highest graded defenders on Saturday. So there were guys who made plays. There were guys that probably want another do-over. I know Jordan Venzial had a rough Thursday, missed a couple tackles and, kind of swung and missed on a little running back out pass. But, hey, it's game one. We saw game one performances all weekend. They were a little bit rough, and I think they certainly can get back and get back in practice and iron out some of the details. And they've got a quality opponent coming in on Saturday.
Yeah, when you give up 35 points to an FCS team, you always want to get very big on it's the defense's fault. It's the defense's fault. It's the defense's fault. But then look at it. If it wasn't for the defense, who I got Cody Jones with that interception in the end zone and the pick 6 as well, defense actually kept us in this game just as much as it kept us out. And the things that I noticed on the defense is when we got exploited, it was we left the guy completely open. There was 2 touchdowns that were completely open, and then another massive gain for someone who was completely open. And to me, those are things that you can fix in 1 week, or you at least can get better in 1 week. So I came in quick to rip on the defense, and then after rewatching the game again, I'm like, you know what, just tighten everything up a little bit, and I think we improve on 1 week to the next. I think it could be really good.
Yeah, guys were hesitating too. I mean, that's the other side. You saw some tentative play in the secondary. Guys were a step slow, and ultimately, if you're in the secondary and you're a step slow, the guys buy you. It's over. And I think you did see a little bit more man concepts in the secondary where you had guys who were, man up. And I also thought despite some big coverage busts, as you mentioned, and Coach Elliott, I think, he put the number out there on Monday is there was 12 blown assignments basically in on Saturday. Okay. If that number's 4 or 5, this game's probably 3 touchdowns. It just is.
Yeah. Tim, we haven't heard from you yet. What do you got some inspiring words for us?
I want to give Granger, he's a game manager, but I want to give him a little bit more to work on. I mean, he wasn't perfect by any means. I wouldn't say he was great. I think he was good. I just think he could do more. I think he could probably run the ball a little bit more. I think it will run the ball a little bit more coming up here with UConn. Defensively, yeah, those 2 picks were huge. I mean, you can't. I mean, that probably won us the game. Otherwise, I don't think we would be having this conversation. We'll see when we get to UConn. I think what's the spread? 3.5, something like that. I think Rhode Island was 18. So I'm hoping we fix a bunch of the defensive mistakes to make it a really competitive game. I think it's going to be a really competitive game coming up on this Saturday at 7.
Then, I agree, and I think that to go back to I don't know, disagree with you or whatever. I think Granger, when Rhode Island went up, took that 28-21 point lead, it became the Granger Marcus Carroll show after that. And those 2 guys put the game on their backs, and they just did what they had to do to win the game. That included Granger on his legs as well. At least from what it looked like to me. I was really impressed with Granger. I thought he looked like the improved quarterback that Ryan has prophesied him to be. And then Marcus Carroll just came out, showtime, came out making look great. So
yeah, I mean, just to jump on the same. I mean, our offense looked good, defense up front looked good. Like I said, lots of pressure. Just some tweaks in the secondary, and I think a couple of tweaks there, and we are a solid team as long as we don't fall back in any of those other areas, which traditionally we will a little bit, but we'll see how that looks. I hope not. I hope we can we just figure out every aspect because we got it. We can see it.
So Ben, on PT, you made a comment that the quarterback we faced at Rhode Island, Kasim Hill, is a better quarterback than we're going to have it with UConn. Who was it? What's the guy? It's a weird name, right? Pagano or I don't know. I don't want to mispronounce it.
But yeah, I mean, I think honestly, the Rhode Island quarterback may be better than 3 or 4 guys on the schedule this year. I mean, people forget he was basically, we had him at a high 3-star 88. I mean, he was nearly a 4-star in our system at the University of Maryland. Guy that has seen everything at this level. Did exactly, and what I give him a ton of credit, he knew exactly where to put the ball and where to go on every single situation, no matter the pressure, no matter the coverage. He kept delivering it. And also got to give credit to Rhode Island. They figured out real quick with this defense. I think the second or third drive, hey, run short, basically in routes and stops right there in front of where the zone breaks. And when you're having zone coverage right there, when we were in zone, and just go up under it, or they recognize man right away and said, all right, here, I'm going to run something right to the sticks. And that's the other side too. This team, with some of these blown assignments, a lot of them happen on third down. They had a phenomenal rate of third down conversions through the first 3 quarters, and that's what keeps you in ball games. Honestly, moving the ball down the field, going that, and conversely, Panthers offense was rolling on third down. They were making things happen, with Marcus Carroll and Granger. I think you will see a little bit more even. I'm interested to see the utilization of the tight end. We saw that in previous years with Aubrey Payne, Roger Carter, who was on the sidelines. And shout out to Roger. Shout out to Ulrich John, man. I on the rewatch realized that he was on the sidelines, and he's around the program now too, which is you just love to see. You love to see guys, that were obviously Panthers through and through and played, and their professional career looks like for Ulrich obviously is over, and he's doing big things locally, but. Roger, until he gets that call back to the NFL or USFL or something like that, then he's going to be hanging out working with the tight ends. But I thought Amon Green played a fantastic game. Didn't probably show up in the box score, but he was a guy where if you look at some of the big runs, he had his nose in there blocking linebackers, blocking defensive ends, and that's what's required of a tight end in this offense. And I'm interested to see if he gets a couple targets this week.
I think we saw David. We saw Chandon upstairs, right? Isn't that who we saw? Chandon Sullivan. We ran into him
this week. I've definitely run into him before, but we saw him this week
on our way to the that one suite we maybe shouldn't have been in.
Where we pissed off the commissioner.
Where we pissed off the commissioner. That's right.
I pissed off the commissioner. No, it's great to see former players come around the program, because I think that even for diehard fans such as ourselves, you get this kind of apathy towards everything, that the people that are here are just here because they've got to be, not because they want to be, despite how Coach Elliott handles his recruiting and everything. So to see guys that come back, whether they made the leap to the next level or not, but just want to be around the program again and help with further it. That's fantastic. So it's great to see Ulrich there and Chandon again, I guess.
You're the one who called him out. You're like, hey, Chandon, man, and he turned around and said, hey, blah blah blah, and then we went and talked to Keith Gill for a little while.
Yeah, we talked to him. He did not reply back to us.
He talked some, just
until I pissed him off. Anyhow, all right, Ben, I know you're not one for projections or predictions or anything, but what should we look for against UConn this week? And then we'll get you out of here and let you take care of your kids, and so you can drive home and get that drink.
Yeah, no worries. So I think it obviously starts defensively. How this team starts. I think and seeing the rotations throughout the game, I'm interested to see what does the first quarter defense look like, right? We saw all out pressure coming from defensive line, linebackers, even some secondary blitzes. What does that look like in the first quarter versus as well as if UConn does have early success, what kind of lineup changes? We saw Taiji Leach come in the second half. Jalen Tate went to the bench a few series there. You did see kind of a little bit more experienced play. I think Gavin Pringle is going to continue to get opportunities just because teams are not going to test Bryquise Brown repeatedly. So Gavin obviously has an opportunity to make plays, have pass breakups, or maybe even potentially another interception. And I really want to see, Granger in game 2 and the offensive line in game 2. They're back. We remember game 2 last year coming off of that really tough South Carolina game. You faced a North Carolina team, and that's really when the offensive line started getting banged up. And the following week we saw it at Charlotte. So, you have offensive line depth. You have guys like Tyden Ferris, who I think played only 6 or 7 snaps, and he's a guy that's like a 6th-year senior, basically transfer in. So, they did a good job, I believe, the staff did on both sides of the ball, getting guys coming off the field. Defensively, I think there was like 19 or 20 guys that played last Thursday night. I expect that number to continue. And this is not a hurry up offense from what I've seen. They're going to run, more pro style that way. So can you speed them up a little bit offensively, when the Panthers have the ball? Defensively, can you get off the field on 3rd down and maybe steal one? I mean, we've seen special teams. Holy smokes. We actually had multiple kick returns in a game. We had a punt return. It was stunning. It was stunning. And like, I'm looking at it and going, all right, well, Robert Lewis is going to, he's going to run. Okay. All right.
What was our average return? Do you know? Do you know where our average starting position was? I don't know. I didn't look, but do you know?
I know they crossed the 30 several times. I've got to look it up. But I mean, here's the thing about it. Ultimately, if you take a fair catch, it's going to be at the 25. There were several drives.
Average is less than 25. We did it wrong.
I don't disagree, but I also don't love, and I put it on PT this morning, I don't love your number one receiver being your kick returner, because there's other guys that have a lot of speed on this roster, like Taylor Williams, and I'd love to see KZ. KZ was on the field twice. He had two reps basically, and he had 1 carry for -1 and didn't see him again. Now, I'm not advocating for Marcus Carroll to stand on the sidelines, maybe a play or two just to grab some water or a brief grab of air. But I mean, that's, people were like, hey, where's Freddie Brock? I said, guys, like, Marcus Carroll ran for 184 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like, I can't put him on the sidelines in a close game.
But if you got the speed sitting out there, yeah, you're right. Stick them back there. If you want to return the kickoffs and you got speed sitting on the sideline, don't do that.
Yeah.
I would be fine Saturday if there was only like 2 or 3 kickoffs total for us to return. I will say that.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, no, whoever, I forget who it was that said made that comment on PT about KZ, but yeah, that is a place where I thought we would see KZ early in the season get some significant playing time, would be to return kicks or punts or something like that. I would like to get him more out into the game. So I think there's one other thing I was going to ask you, but now I can't remember what it was. So yeah, we'll hopefully, Ben, thanks for coming on here, and hopefully we can get you on throughout the season to talk about the games and explain to us what we witnessing, because we don't know. Well, Ryan, I don't know
what we witnessing. Yeah, well, David and I didn't witness very much, so I had to rewatch the game. God honest truth, I just loved hanging out with everybody again and like having the whole Panthers back together. And just hanging out with everybody. So I socialized the whole evening and then rewatched the game 2 days later.
These night games, man, they're rough. We got another one ahead of us. So
it was nice on ESPN Plus because I'd skip through the commercials. I'd skip through the in between the plays. I like quickened it. It only took me like an hour to watch the whole game. So it was great.
Nice.
Yeah, so ESPN pays off, friends. To tell a friend. Well, wear black, boys. We'll see you Saturday afternoon. I'm gonna effort a Georgia State bookstore run to see if they've got any black gear. Probably tomorrow. So I'll keep you guys posted.
All right, sounds good, Ben. Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks, fellas. See you.
Cheers.
All right, bye. So that was good. I got exactly out of we actually held Ben to only 23 minutes of talking, and we got some words in ourselves. It's pretty impressive. I like it. No, it was to your point, Ryan. I agree completely. Getting back out there, football season being back, getting out there and tailgating.
The tailgate was awesome, despite the lack of other options of food besides chicken wings. From a Publix that is no longer open. There's no longer a Taste of Summer Hill.
They closed it after the.
They're closed right now. Yeah, indefinitely.
The cave-in.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. The mayor came in and said he's very concerned about access to food, and I'm like, where were you for decades before? What, like 2 months ago? What are you talking about? What are you saying? I mean, I understand we are in a food desert, but like, what are you saying right now? Like, what? These people are gonna not have access to food anymore. I'm like, what do you think they did before 2 months ago?
Exactly. It's not like they've given up all other forms of food or anything.
Right? People that are gonna starve in Summer Hill. Nah, man, we're okay, but also open it back up.
So it's because of the crane or whatever it was that drove onto the parking garage and fell through. That's why they closed it.
I guess, yeah. I mean, that's the reason given. I'm sort of like, why are you closed? Doesn't make sense to me. But I guess they're worried about because the crane was clearly over the weight limit, and should not have been driven up there. But I guess maybe it hurt the structural integrity or whatever. So maybe they don't trust it right now. I don't know. But it's all closed right now indefinitely.
I saw the video of it and the comments, because you always got to go to the comments to get the real juicy information. Was they made a good point? Like, you saw it, the collapse, the thickness of the actual cement that cars were parking on from the picture did not look like it was very thick in and of itself. Like, 3-4 inches, something like that. Which typically I think is well, definitely thick enough, but definitely when you have many heavy vehicles driving on.
It took me a second. Yeah, you like about 3 to 4 inches. You enjoy that?
I know it's not what I like. It's
all right. Last call.
Familiarity type thing. Yeah. So anyhow, Publix closed because of a crane close. Whatever. Are there other things over there open? Or are there other things that are?
There's nothing else over there right now. I don't think there was there's like a Piedmont urgent care. I have no idea the status of that. I could not figure out the status of that beforehand. So it's whatever. They said they're working on plans to either partially open or completely reopen it. And I'm like, just put a staircase on the side. Don't put people on the parking deck. It's not hard.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, exactly.
At least have pedestrians able to get in there.
That was my next statement. Was you are literally in the middle of neighborhoods. Walk up only.
Was that people should be able to walk instead of drive. If you can drive, you can go to Kroger.
And I know it's a hassle, but there's a massive parking lot just over there to the west of the whole state of the grocery store.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Just close off, create another staircase or something to let people walk up. And it's not gonna be convenient, but at least it'll be open, and we won't. people won't starve, David.
Right. People won't starve.
People won't starve.
Thank you, Mayor.
And more importantly, I'll get my pub subs.
Which is what you need when you're working from home, right?
Pub subs is what you need. But no, absolutely. The tailgate was phenomenal. Our sponsors, Prime Meridian and Mac.
Post Meridian, get them right.
Whatever, man. It's a line on a map or something, or it's before or after it, I guess. Post Meridian. I said Prime before too, didn't I?
Yeah.
I can never remember. Either way, the gimlets are delicious, and we got plenty of those. And then a couple cases of beer from Max, and our patrons were drinking all right.
Yeah, it's funny, you start offering up some free alcohol to people, and they want to start joining your club. So any member of our Patreon group is drinks for free at our tailgates, and so we're doing it again this week. It's all season long. Blackout this Saturday.
Well, I had blackout last Saturday, or Thursday, so it's all good,
So what's what one of the members said? Like, every week's gonna be a blackout if we're drinking these post meridian cocktails before games, especially when it's gonna be a long tailgate. You're having it's one thing to have a Thursday 7:00 game, but now we got a Saturday 7:00 game.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I had like 2 of my own beers, and then I started cracking open those gimlets, and I just never went back.
I noticed the number of gimlets that were left afterwards.
That's okay. Good time was had by all.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, in the game, it was good social atmosphere. I joined you in the president's suite and sort of wandered around, and I loved seeing everybody again. It was just a good experience.
It's a social experience, and the students showed out. We actually had
students really showed up. Heck yeah, it was awesome.
Great. It's great to see them out there. Hopefully, we'll
they saw a win. They showed up, and we won.
And they didn't leave when we were down.
That's apparently some of them did, but whatever.
Well, yeah. Who was the Twitch person, the streamer that was there?
Oh, I don't know. I saw somebody said that somebody from, I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I didn't recognize the name at all.
No, nor did I. By the way, if anybody's wondering where Tim went, work emergency popped up. That's why Ryan and I are just blabbing on without him right now.
Cool. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I was just rolling with it.
So we got Ben's take on everything. I kind of talked about my. It sucks though,
because he was the only one who went to the game and watched the game.
We watched it. I just think
I didn't. You might have.
I had things that were preventing me from retaining long-term memories of the game. Like the next morning when I woke up to the message about the Cody Jones interception, and I'm like, wow, that is an amazing play. I feel like that's something I would have remembered seeing. No, no.
I still haven't watched that part actually. So
no. I got it. There's actually I found another YouTube channel that does they chronicle all of the ESPN top 10 plays, so you can just go to their channel and pick the date and the date afterwards. So don't do 8/31, do 9/1, and they'll have the recap with that on there.
You throw a link in the show notes. Maybe
if I remember that, we'll
see. Giving you work.
I got these post meridian margaritas going tonight right now.
I know. So. I saw the color and I was like, "Is that a gimlet?" In the private chat, I hit David up. Is that a gimlet?
No,
I was excited.
No,
he accused me of stealing some, and I didn't. But now I'm thinking I should have.
Yeah, this is just the rent that I charge for them staying in my house between games.
Fair enough.
All right, UConn. How you feel about this game?
Well, I mean, I think with our interview that we had yesterday
with Bobby, yep.
Yeah. So it seemed like he is concerned about the passing game. We are concerned about our secondary. That seems like a good matchup. I'm excited about it. I think that they're not going to be as honestly, their quarterback is not going to be as athletic as the Rhode Island guy. He was. I mean, you don't see a lot of quarterback. He was a really good quarterback, and I think we're going to see more sacks. And his passing is going to help our secondary, maybe knock some of the rust off.
Got a gel, right?
We got a gel. That's right.
Yeah. No, I think, like I said, talking to Ben, I think that the problems we saw, the major problems we saw with the defense are fixable things like within a week. I think that Coach Elliott and Stags and everything, I think they can work on that, improve on that. There was a tackling issue. We definitely had it a few times where we were letting guys just run past us without, bringing them down. So work on that a little bit, fundamental type things. But it was the first week of the season. Fortunately for us, after having had seasons like UNC and USC and or vice versa, but back to back to start the season. Now that we get an FCS team and then, an FBS independent, which I think I referred to UConn as a glorified FCS team at one point, having those to start our season and then Charlotte. I mean,
look, I would normally scoff at Charlotte too, but I don't think we can. I think they've earned the right for us not to scoff at them at this point. I mean, they've won a bunch of games against us. It's like, it's hard to put your nose up on that,
They have not won a bunch of games against us.
If it's like 2 out of 4, then yeah, it is.
Yeah, I think it's
it's either 2 out of 4 or 2 out of 3.
I'm looking up the website has a history thing on that. I didn't really mean to get into the whole Charlotte talk, but yeah, we're 2-2. We're 2-2 against Charlotte. So we win some, we lose some.
Yeah. No, but really, it's just hard to be like, well, that's a win because it just traditionally has not been for us.
No,
so
well, it should be. It should be traditionally because we were on a 2-game win streak going into last season, and then we lost by 1 point in a shootout in a game that we were favored by 21 points.
I know that's our fault, right? That's our fault.
Yes, we get them back-to-back home games. That's weird.
As far as a UConn game too, I am a little frustrated that I do not enjoy the blackout games and all that, like different color whatever than our primary colors, because we're a small program. We don't have a ton of people out there. We don't have a bunch of third-party sellers selling a bunch of stuff. It's actually not that easy to get black gear. And I just looked today. And it's not like I'm late, and they're telling me that I can't get something from the bookstore 7 to 14 days. So like I can't order from them reliably right now. Right. So I'm like, where am I supposed to get black gear in 2023? 7 to 14 days is crazy. Like, you making it after? Is this like made to order? What's going on?
Yeah, I don't know why they have that kind of list on there. I mean, maybe for certain items that are not in stock at the store. I have no idea. I would
Like
just go down there.
work with Amazon. Go get have some of your stuff in there. Have it next day delivering, whatever.
Our stuff is print on demand, so you order it, it gets printed, and it gets sent out.
14 days, or
you could go to shop or merch.stateofatlanta.com and
do we have black gear?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll go on there. Will I get it by Saturday?
Not now, you won't. I mean, if you order it tonight, you may get it on Saturday. Fortunately, it's 7 o'clock. Fortunately, it's a 7 o'clock game.
I'm just gonna wear this black T-shirt, and I'm just gonna, I'll wear my hat, I guess.
I'm working on. Hopefully, I'll have something for you.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Hopefully, I'll have something for you. So.
Well, if not, I'm wearing,
that shirt.
Yeah, plain black shirt.
I would say if you're going to do a blackout game, do it later in the season, not when it's still going to be like high 80s and you have a night game and we're going to be out there in the tailgates the entire time. Let's do it later.
You don't get an opinion unless you actually unmute yourself. Tim is texting us in the private chat.
Don't wear that shirt.
Don't wear that shirt. It looks like your night. It looks like your night shirt or something like that. Like things that you put on before you go to bed.
No, your comfy shirt. I wear this to work.
Oh, is it just a black shirt? It's not, or a gray shirt. It's not even like a Georgia State anything.
No, it's just a black shirt. I don't have a black Georgia State shirt.
I have
a black 3 or 4.
I have a black Georgia State polo. I've got the Atlanta black T-shirt. Thanks to Tim from last season, and I have a gray T-shirt with the Panther head on it that I bought myself. It's a little tight because I'm a little fat.
I was gonna say if it's tight on you, it'll be real tight on me.
I wasn't offering it to you. I was just telling you that I buy stuff.
You actually literally did offer a shirt to me and then listed off the shirts that you have.
That's not what I offered to you.
He's just revealing the shirts he has. I got a unique one. I got the Nike Just Do It with the Panther head in the middle of it.
We're Under Armour now.
I know. Nice. I like Nike better though.
I do too. I like the Adidas the best. I want to go back to Adidas. I think that's like just a cool style, and they got a good look to them. But
it's retro, right?
Yeah,
it is. It's a little retro. It's nice. It's
retro.
Cool.
Yeah.
But let's just do blackout games later in the season when it's cooler outside and not a 7 o'clock game.
Everyone stay underneath the tents.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's
for your own safety.
Let's like literally a blue out and have like everyone wear blue and no one wear white, and just encourage the fans to wear blue. Holy crap.
I think about this all the time, and I really wish that they would do it. I want to do the "I'm Blue" song as our coming out song for the players. Like just like Virginia Tech has Enter Sandman, I just want our guys to come out to "I'm Blue." Da da dee da 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 da.
Intro thing at first, and then as soon as they hit, just have them like coming out. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. I mean, it's an upbeat, pumpy, get you bouncing on the seats and everything.
Like the Iron Man movie, in Iron Man, they started off like that, and it's just like they're rolling the intro credits as the guy's like talking, and then they roll into it. It's good,
right? I think. Yeah. So when they do that, just I don't need any money. I mean, I do need money, but I'm not asking for any money, but I'll take it. Just that's what we need to do. Come
Let
out
Eli
to
know.
He might ask you how much you're going to pay for that.
Exactly. Has anybody ever sponsored the song that a team comes out to?
Then they'll play something else like all together, just like some other color even, and it's just like what's happening?
It'll be the Smurfs, la 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 la.
Well, you didn't pay.
Exactly. So we went with another blue group.
Until you pay, this is what you get.
It's a blue man group just like banging on shit.
I would take that.
Actually, that does not sound uncool. So
if that's the compromise, I will gladly, if we can get the actual blue man group out there for a game, that would be
cool.
And you know what? Why don't we just do that? Why don't we get some students to dress up as a blue man group and just bang on some drums?
The marketing skill in this room right here is just phenomenal.
And then you expand
in
it
these 3 rooms.
My room and Tim's room.
In these 3 rooms.
I feel like we'd have to amp up on blue a little bit, right? There's got to be like an amped up version of it.
Oh yeah, whatever. Do a remix. Make it like a
Yeah, some
hip hop
kind of
type
remix.
thing too. Whatever. Who cares? It'll be great.
Yeah, like how they added that the Scotty doesn't know in the Euro dance club techno mix in the movie, and just do the same thing with I'm Blue. Yeah.
That's
And then
down.
anytime
Whatever.
anytime we lose a game, we can slow it down. I'm blue, da da dee da dee da.
No,
We're not
just turn off
losing,
the lights.
right? Come on, we're good.
We're not losing a home game this season. I know that much.
Wow.
Whoa.
That's ballsy.
I mean,
Not
that's
blue
not
ballsy, it's ballsy.
That's not extreme, is it? Oh yeah, Troy.
Who?
Troy State, Troy State, Marshall, JMU, Appy State.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's a rough home.
That's easy.
We're not gonna lose at home. Oh, you heard it here first.
We're not going to lose an East Division home game or out of conference. I'll give it up if we're probably going to lose to Troy. We're probably going to lose to Troy.
Who?
We're probably going to lose to Troy State, but Marshall, I think we beat Marshall, and I really do think we beat Marshall. It's homecoming. Come on, you know.
And then
You win your
How did
homecoming
they
game.
do? How did Marshall do? 'Cause that was one of the teams I was just like, I
Marshall,
have no freaking clue.
Tim, tell him, inform him.
They were losing to Acorn.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
know.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Alcorn State, but they're like a MAC, aren't they? They're not FCS. They're MAC.
Mac is FC. Mac is no. Alcorn is FCS.
Or U Albany. Is that what he played?
I have it here somewhere. Hold on. Marshall. U Albany. University of
There
Albany.
you go. Yeah, they barely skirted by that one.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
21-17, and like I think it was. I mean, like they just skated out of that. Like they just skin of their teeth type thing got out of that game.
Y'all, glass houses.
Well, I said that we were going to, I felt like our game against Rhode Island was going to be, we would score in the 30s and they would score in the 20s. So I was already in that kind of within a 10-point differential is what I was expecting. We got it. It's just we both scored a little bit more. You know, we got a defensive touchdown. They scored a bit more than I expected because we had guys that just let them be wide the hell open. I caught myself. And yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's
42 minutes in and you're catching yourself. That's good. Good news.
Yeah, well, yeah, 42 minutes and 4 margaritas. Yeah, so we beat Marshall, and then I think we beat James Madison because we had beaten them last year, and we pissed it away in the fourth quarter.
We handed it to them, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we fixed that.
game.
We fixed that, and I'm going to pick that we're going to beat Appy State every single year just to get Ryan to say we can't do it until we do it. Because it's the dumbest argument I've seen in my life.
What? It's not that dumb. They're a good team.
That's like saying I will always be a virgin because I haven't had sex yet.
I mean, at a certain point, that is sort of.
We're actually kind of virgins right now.
At a certain point, you start saying like, "Oh, well, you swung a bunch of times and you kept missing, so maybe you got a point."
We're not an 80-year-old virgin that's been taking taking App State on dates every single week. Eventually,
I don't think you know how metaphors work, David.
We have been.
I was not a literary major. I
mean, metaphors we covered in grade school.
Yeah, I'm better at grammar. I'm not good at speaking it, but I'm better at like critiquing people's grammar.
Yeah.
I don't know why we got on that, but yeah, okay, we're not losing a home game.
That's how we got there. That was it right there. I don't know how we got here. And then you say the seed again.
So you mentioned the Marshall game. They barely escaped. Did you guys pay attention to any of the other Sunbelt team games?
App State a little bit. They struggled but pulled away. Like I think they won by 14, but it was kind of back and forth in their game with Gardner Webb. I think it's Gardner Webb.
Yeah, Gardner Webb.
It seemed like they struggled a little early, but then they kind of made it click or whatever. But I mean, you could say the same about like Georgia.
True. They were starting super slow.
Didn't Georgia win by 40?
Yes, but
but the first half.
Whole first half plus a little bit more, they were like, "What is happening?"
Fans were getting a little antsy in the stadium. I could say that much. I'm like, you all are so spoiled. You have the best team on the planet. Like,
I need to send you, if I can find it, Tim. I got to send you one of my the TikTok guys I follow, and he does all this SEC stuff, and he's talking about how much pressure is on Georgia for being back-to-back champs, and it's like you don't know what it's like. You don't know the pressure that's on. Everyone's looking at us. And then the Bama guy's like, I know how you feel. Like, it's funnier than I'm describing.
Used to be them. Yeah,
it's funnier than I'm describing it. But no, the big one was
your favorite team,
my boys, my Bobcats of San Marcos, taking down Baylor, the only team in the Sun Belt to win a road game this weekend. The home games won for every Sun Belt matchup. The home team won, whether it be the Sun Belt team or the non-Sun Belt team. Texas State was the only road win. Yeah.
They looked solid. I don't know if you watched any of that game, but they looked really good against Baylor.
I did not watch.
I didn't watch it, but I've seen people talking about it now, and everybody's saying that either we're playing in San Marcos or they're playing here.
I think that's a lot of booze talking. I don't know.
For the conference championship, I should add.
I searched through the post week 1 bowl projections, and it took me a lot of sites to get through until I found us in a bowl projection for the season.
Where are we at? Where are we going? Myrtle Beach?
We're going to the beach. We're going to the beach of Mobile.
Against who?
Ball State.
Crossing my fingers.
I'll take Ball State or Western Kentucky. Those are solid wins. Easy. No, Buffalo, which actually, obviously that's a pick of mine because my sister-in-law went to Buffalo, and I would love that. But yeah,
it'd be a family affair, right?
I can try to convince her to come down to that game.
She probably wouldn't though, right?
No, obviously not. She's not a fan of me. So no, she's actually probably a bigger fan of me than she is of UB football.
I was actually going to say, like, she's not a fan of me or Buffalo football.
She's one of those people that goes to college for the academics, and she got like a plethora of degrees.
Good word.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. You guys watching any of the other Sun Belt games this week? Do you even know who's playing?
I have no idea who's playing.
I turned on NFL Network. I saw ULM overcome. I guess they were losing quite a bit, and they beat Army.
Army. Yeah. I was talking about if we're going to watch any of the games this week.
Oh, this week?
It'd be hard unless we have the TV because we'll be at the tailgate the entire day.
You bringing the TV?
What's the? I guess App State and UNC, but that's pretty much close to our game. You could put it on the first 45 minutes.
I was actually when I was.
Yeah. The TV's going.
Okay. I asked an important question.
when I was looking at the schedule, I at first it looked like we could watch at least the first 15 minutes of every single Sun Belt game leading up to ours, and then there happened to be a bunch at our time at 7:00, whatever. Because you got JMU and Virginia are at 12, and Troy and Kansas State are at 12. But then it's like 3:30, 4, 5, 5:15, 6. Like you could just watch a little bit of each game leading up to our game. But yeah, Appy at UNC is interesting. Troy, Kansas State could be interesting. We had an actual conference matchup in Lafayette at Old Dominion.
We'll see what we got. I mean, you got Marshall at ECU. That might be good to put on for like an hour and 15, then switch over to Appy, right?
Yeah. But we got something to watch the entire time.
JMU, Virginia, maybe until it gets out of hand. It might not, though. Who knows?
Troy, if I'm not watching the Georgia State game in the stadium, I probably am not watching a football game at the tailgate. So
who's
non-Georgia State game?
True.
Whose hand is it getting out of? Do you think? Are you predicting JMU to roll Virginia or vice versa?
No, I think Virginia will take it. Yeah,
Virginia is one of those schools that's like should be
hot
good.
Yeah,
exactly. They'll either beat the snot out of a team like JMU or they'll just get like chokeholded and yeah.
Kansas State, Troy could be interesting too.
Who?
I mean, Troy State.
I mean JMU in general, like I think it's gonna be interesting to see. Last year they came out of the gates, and they had a really good season. we saw other FCS come ups not, do the same exact thing and then not do so hot the next season. Obviously, Appy is the exception, but other FCS come ups have done poorly later on, right? So we'll see how they are able to keep doing well. We'll see.
Yeah.
David thinks they won't. We know that. He doesn't like purple, which is dumb because purple's a great color.
It'll draw them down. It'll be their downfall. Purple will be their downfall.
I prefer pink.
Purple's a great color. Pink's a good color too, man. It's a good color.
There are no pink teams in college football.
Maybe we should change it and get a pink field, pink uniforms.
Oh God. My head hurts just thinking about it.
I would love it.
My daughters would love it.
Like cotton candy pink.
Well, wasn't there? There was either a high school or a college in Texas or whatever that painted their away team locker rooms pink to kind of like demoralize the opposing team, and they actually had to have a rule come out that say you couldn't do that. Like you couldn't, like it was considered a form of like taunting to paint the locker rooms pink.
How is that I don't even understand. It's just a color.
Yeah, big old masculine men don't think that pink is an appropriate color to have around them. I wore a pink shirt to high school when I moved to middle school when I moved to Georgia, and I got bashed hard. Roswell was not open to
any other color.
14-year-olds wearing 14-year-olds wearing pink. So 14-year-old boys wearing pink.
Yeah, you should take a look. It was Iowa. You should take a look, Ryan, when you get a chance. Google that locker room. It is pink.
Oh, it was Iowa?
Yeah.
It wasn't even Texas. Are they still? Do they still have it?
I think they do. I don't know. Maybe not. I know it was Iowa.
I feel like they should do locker rooms. Like Georgia State should have their locker rooms that look like the inside of a strip club.
There's nothing wrong
with
this locker room.
Outperform. If we had that.
This Iowa locker room looks like that.
But like have glass walls and like neon signs and just like spotlights and
strippers.
And well, yeah, I would also like. I mean, it doesn't matter to me at all. But yeah, it's like if it was Magic City or what's Cheetah or something like that. Like that, it is when you walk into the locker, you would so easily sell every recruit on the locker room if it looked like the inside of a strip club.
Okay. All right. Hey, so there's more information about this pink locker room. The coach from Iowa who had that happen had a psychology degree and thought that the pink would actually have a calming effect on them.
Yeah, I knew that.
They wouldn't be as hype because colors that you like. It's not about being like emasculated or anything. It's about calming.
Yeah, I knew that part too. I just thought it was better the other way.
I think it's more interesting, like the real way.
It's like the reason why McDonald's has reds in their colors because it makes you hungrier, and Best Buy has blue because it makes you think that they're trustworthy.
That's fair. All right. That's why we're blue, right? That's why SOA is blue.
It has nothing to do with the fact that Georgia State is.
That's the reason.
If there was something I could do to make people trust us more, I would absolutely do it. It just so happens to be that blue is the color of trust, I guess. That's why I'm pushing for the I'm blue, da da dee da da da.
All right.
Here's the question of the week. How bad is Arkansas State going to lose this week?
Who do they have this week? They have
Memphis.
But Memphis, they're hosting them. They have them coming to Jonesboro. I would have to think, I don't know what Memphis did last week, but I would have to think that if I was Memphis in the American Conference right now and feeling like you are the best team in there and you want to get out so bad, all you want to do is beat the absolute snot out of everybody. No mercy. No.
Well, here's the deal. Whoever wins that game gets to be in the Sun Belt.
Memphis, the Sun Belt confirmed. If you did that, if you made that a rule, Memphis would literally just like not even go to the game.
They'd be like, never mind.
So we can't afford that 2-hour drive or hour and a half.
They show up and they just down the ball on like the first play. They just
like, the water boy's the only one that shows up, and he's just like,
the defense rolls out, and when they snap the ball, everyone just sort of moves to the side. Slowly.
There was a movie or show that did that, wasn't it?
like it sounds like something that would happen in like the Replacements or something.
Yeah, maybe. But the Replacements had like their big scene was the end when they just started like drop kicking people and body slamming them. Be like, hey, you're all going to prison tomorrow, so just assault these people.
Fair ish.
All right. We're pushing an hour right now.
Yeah, and we've only done football, so are we just good? Are we gonna like slide some of the other info into?
Apologies to all the other sports. I didn't even look to see who. I had a busy weekend. I Dragon Con all weekend.
Hey, that's fair, man.
And I drove to Memphis on Monday morning at 5 and flew home after some Scott Club Jack Daniels just to do the interview with the UConn guy. I'm tired.
Good man.
All right. But there is realignment talk. We can do realignment in last call.
Let's do it.
All right, cool. Tim, you cool with that?
Yeah, let's do it.
I haven't even finished my first beer, but I did finish.
I gotta pee. That's why I'm like pushing in the private chat to like let's finish this up.
I can't even read that. My vision's too bad right now.
It just says last call with a bunch of A's.
I should probably edit all this out. Thanks everybody for listening. We're gonna head over to last call where we'll talk about realignment and other stuff, and I'll complain more about being tired and drunk. Not the drunk part.
Oh no!
You can find it on our
Patreon. Would you complain about that?
Patreon.com/State of Atlanta, free of charge on Friday mornings or immediately if you are a Patreon member. Please consider joining. Not only do you get access to our private group chat, access to the live streams of both the episode and interview and last call, but also
merch,
free, discounts on merch. You get free drinks at tailgates.
That's a good win.
If I don't drink them all first.
You won't. There's a lot of booze.
We only got a couple days left. We're safe, right?
Yeah, and I'm not. This was I didn't get a chance to buy vodka, so this is why I was doing that. Anyhow, thanks everybody for listening. Say goodbye, guys.
Goodbye, guys.
Peace.